Hi everyone, and welcome to this third video in our jQuery series. Today we're going to look at the fade in and fade out methods, and we'll have an introduction to chaining. Let's go! Hi everyone, so before we get started with jQuery today, I just want to turn our attention to our good friend Bootstrap, which is a responsive web design framework. This means that we can design web pages to look good on any device size, whether it be a big desktop monitor or a small smartphone or an iPad. Your web pages will look terrific. Okay, so this is responsive web design. So what I'm going to do today is let's go and do a search for Bootstrap. I'm going to go into Bootstrap's homepage. I'm going to go into the documentation section, and I'm going to, if it loads, I'm going to look for components. There we go, Bootstrap components. Now here are some examples of components. We've also got a menu bar here of all the different kinds of components that are available. I'm going to go to buttons. Here are some examples of buttons, and here is an example of how to use them. All we have to do is apply the Bootstrap class to an element that we're working with. So I'm going to take the primary button class here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my P element here, and I'm going to apply that class to my P element. Now, because I'm using Bootstrap CSS file here, I've got a link to it. This should work. So let's just close that off a bit. Let's save this page, Control S, and let's refresh our web page. Boom! I have a button, a Bootstrap button. That was easy. Now then, let's go into JavaScript. Let's get busy with jQuery. I'm going to select the document, and I'm going to call the ready function. Inside the ready function, I'm going to design my own function for my own purposes. We are ready to go. Just to make sure that I haven't made some silly mistake, I'm just going to alert success, just to make sure everything's fine. So let's just save that, Control S, and refresh my web page. Alert success! So that's fine. I didn't make any stupid spelling mistake or syntax error. Everything is good. Now then, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to select the element on my web page with the ID of welcome, and I'm going to call the fade out function. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell jQuery to fade out the welcome element over a period of 1000 milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds, of course, is 1 second. So when the document is ready, which means this will have loaded, then the jQuery is going to run, and it's going to fade out this element over a period of 1 second. So let's just Control S to save that and refresh the web page. Boom! It worked. Now what I can do is let's copy that. And let's just mess around with this. First I'm going to ask the element to fade out, then I'm going to ask it to fade in, and then I'm going to ask it to fade out, and finally I'm going to ask it to fade in. And let's save that, Control S, and refresh the web page. Okay, so fade out, fade in, fade out, fade in. So that's load, fade out, fade in, fade out, fade in. Okay, so we can have lots of fun with jQuery, and look how many lines of code it took me to do that fade in, fade out effect. As we looked at in the last tutorial video, we learned that jQuery is simply a JavaScript library which allows us as web designers to do things quickly with JavaScript. Okay, and that's what this is all about. What I'm also going to show you is we can chain jQuery functions and methods just by doing this. So fade out 1000 dot fade in 1000 dot fade out 1000 dot fade in 1000. So now I'm just first this function will happen, and then this function will happen, and then this function will happen, etc. So let's save that, Control S, and just see if that works. Fade out, fade in, fade out, fade in. Okay, so there's another interesting little tip with jQuery. How did I know about the fade in method of jQuery? Well, that's kind of easy really. All I did was I went to a web browser, I did a search for jQuery API, I went into that web page, and I just started to look at some of these jQuery functions and just find something that looks interesting. And I was immediately attracted to the fade in and fade out methods. Okay? And even if I don't understand what the heck this is talking about, now that I know it exists, I can go and do some more research on the internet. Okay? If I don't really understand what this is talking about, as an example, I can go and look at other examples on the internet and do my own research. Okay? So, have a go.